20 strong chess players from 9 federations compete in St. Louis. USChessChamps.com presents the 3rd annual Winter Chess Classic.
Hello and welcome back to our live coverage of the 2019 Winter Chess Classic. We're in the home stretch here, Sabina, as this is round 8 today, with just one round left to go after today. Of course, we are your hosts. My name is Caleb Denby. This is the wonderful Sabina Foisor, and we will be giving you the play-by-play coverage today over these chess games. And what a tournament it's been so far.
I still cannot believe we're about to close it up with one more round tomorrow. And of course, today's round, which is very exciting because the players are trying to make sure they get some extra points, get to the top.
Yeah, there's no time left to dawdle. These players, of course, maybe earlier on in the tournament, they had some time. If they wanted a break, they could maybe make an easy draw with white, but now it's now or never.
Yeah.
Either you win these games and come home with that first place prize, or you go home a loser.
I wouldn't really say that. That's kind of harsh. I mean, it just, you have a bad tournament, so you certainly have to come back from it. You take your lessons and you move on.
Of course.
I mean, but it's certainly for this one, you're not really doing so great, but it's okay. It's chess, and if you're a good chess player, you learn that.
Of course, these wonderful tournaments here in St. Louis, everybody goes home with some prize money. These invitational tournaments, great opportunities for these players to really test their mettle.
Of course, and they have some chances to play some other strong players and then get a prize as well. So very beautiful conditions here at the St. Louis Chess Club. I really enjoy coming here every time. So.
I might be biased, but I also like it here.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we see where we stand after these first 7 rounds? Rinat Jumabayev is the man in the A group. He has 5 points out of 7. And actually, looking at his games, he has never been worse. He's played amazingly consistent, amazingly accurate chess, and that puts him at the top of the leaderboard. Jeffrey Zhang, as well, has also been playing incredibly well. In fact, the only man able to take down Jeffrey Zhang has been Rinat Jumabayev. So it'll be interesting to see if Jeffrey can make up that point difference, even though he lost in the head-to-head matchup against Rinat. Daniel Naroditsky and Sam Sevian are the other 2 players in this A group that are still able to catch the leader. So with some good fortune and some good chess, they might also make it up to that number 1 position.
For sure.
Sethu has actually had the turnaround tournament, well, I guess the Cinderella story of the tournament. He started off actually with 3 losses.
Yeah.
And since then, he has scored 3.5 points out of his last 4 games.
That was quite impressive. Although yesterday we weren't quite sure about his really early draw, but he did have the black pieces, so in a way,
Yes, Russian school of chess. Make a glorious draw with black.
Yeah.
Grigory Oprin is also on 3.5 points. And that leaves Victor Erdos, Alexis Serrana, Hovhannes Gabuzian, and Var Akobian to round out the A group. The B group is a totally different story. With these standings, there are actually 4 players tied for the lead in this B group. So these last 2 rounds will decide it all. Melik Kachin also cannot be counted out, just a half point behind these 4 leaders, definitely within striking distance of getting that first place, or at least forcing a playoff.
That is true, yeah. He had a great tournament. He's been coaching a lot lately, and he said this is kind of a tournament where he's coming out of retirement, but he's been doing pretty great considering he hasn't played in a long time.
Definitely.
So.
I believe, actually, Christopher Yu mentioned in his interview that Melik has been his coach as of late. So it's a little interesting story there with both teacher and student.
Having to play each other in the tournament, yeah.
Tigran Harutunian is on 3.5 out of 7. Elshan, Justin Wang, and Sergei Ehrenberg all on 2.5, and Christopher Yu on 2 points in this B group. And why don't we actually take a quick look at the tournament format as well, see what kind of format these players are playing in. There are, of course, 2 10-player round robins. That is the A group and the B group that we just looked at. The time control for the event is 90 minutes for 40 moves, and then 30 minutes is added on for the remainder of the game. There is a 30-second increment for move 1. And in addition to these rules, there's also a draw rule in effect. No draw offers are allowed before black's 30th move, so the game will continue past move 30, barring any 3-move repetition or by some miracle stalemate.
Yeah,
But,
by move 30 is kind of hard, but
yes.
for sure, we have seen some very impressive chess here at the Winter Chess Classic. So that rule has its it has made its goal, I think.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it's down to the draw rule or it's just down to these players playing some really interesting chess, but either way, it's been an exciting tournament to watch.
For sure, and they're playing for some great prizes. So I think, even if maybe not having that rule over there, they would still be trying to fight for the top prizes. So
and I do want to mention that today is round 8. That means tomorrow is the final round of this Winter Chess Classic. Of course, that means the round actually starts 2 hours early, as will our show. So of course, we've been starting up around 3:30 p.m. every day. But tomorrow, be sure to join us live at 1:30 p.m. for our live coverage of these players' amazing games. Also, I do want to mention, you talked about prize funds. Maybe we can pull up that graphic as well. These players playing for a total prize fund of $22,000 in the A group, with first place prize taking home a very significant $6,000 chunk of that. And in the B group, it's nothing to laugh at either. It's $14,000 at stake, with first place taking home $4,000. So a lot at stake here in the B group.
for sure, and I'm sure we're going to see some decisive games in these last 2 rounds because everyone is trying to improve their place in the standings.
Yeah.
And trying to get a little bit of a higher price.
Get that payday. Of course, always chess players care very much about that rating as well.
That is true.
That's what gets them more invitations to more tournaments. That's what, it's a good marker of their progress in their chess career. So
For sure.
always something to play for, even if you're relegated to the lowest prizes. But I do, as always, want to thank you guys for joining us here on YouTube. I see Patrick Daly joining us once again. Mikhail Tal is in the chat room.
Wow.
Interesting. Croatian Chess Knight, Coronel White, thank you all. Marcus W, thank you for joining us. As always, if you want to get involved on Twitter, you can do so using the hashtag Winter Chess Classic. And if you want to follow the games for yourself, be sure to head on over to uschesschamps.com, where you can see all of the games live with some engine analysis and check out those games that you find most interesting. Well, Sabina, I believe we actually already have some interesting results. I don't know if we can actually start with the B group pairings and maybe see what's going on there.
Let's do that.
We have Sergei Ehrenberg against Tigran Harutyunian, Melik Khachiyan against Federico Perez Ponce, Sergei Ehrenberg against Emilio Cordova, and then our result has come in the B group for this next game. Elshan Muradiabadi has defeated one of the Group B leaders, Alexei Sorokin, in a very interesting game with a devastating attack on the king's side. And I believe in just a few moments we're actually going to try to get Elshan in here. And our key matchup of the day is actually Sergei Azarov against Christopher Yu. Sergei, of course, one of those tournament leaders, playing against the lowest rated player and actually the bottom on the leaderboard right now, Christopher Yu, trying to make a full point to extend that lead. And we see the players there. And Sabina, maybe I can leave it to you to introduce what's going on in this game, and I will step out of my chair while we get Elshan in to talk about his amazing wins.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to getting to talk about that game. I wasn't able to watch it from the beginning as I had some other assignments, but I'm really looking forward to discussing that and interviewing Elshan. That should be something really cool. So for this game, right, Sergei Azarov against Christopher Yu, wow, what an interesting position. So Black does have in this position an extra pawn, but White just playing knight to f4, threatening some very annoying, attacks, putting some pressure on the king's side. So I think Black has to be careful on how to try to defend this position. But we are here with Grandmaster Elshan
Elshan.
Muradiabadi. What a great game! Congrats! Nice, beautiful game.
Yeah,
I haven't had the chance to see.
We were hoping that finally you will have an interview. I finally got one.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to have you here. We've never been in this position, me having to interview you live.
No, it's happening.
It's happening. So,
Okay.
with a very beautiful game. Tell me about your mood going into today's game. You had a very tough loss and kind of a tough tournament here at the Winter Chess Classic. I think you had other hopes for this tournament. What do you think went wrong for you so far in the tournament?
I was just playing poorly with black.
With black pieces.
Yeah. Well, game 2, I was completely played a very bad opening. Just didn't play. The other 2 games I had to make a draw, but blundered in one move. So.
Yeah.
But with white, I played reasonably fine. I mean, round 3 against Melik, I had advantage, close to winning.
Mm-hmm.
And in game 1 and game 5 against
Sergei Ehrenberg, you had a very good
and
position.
Ponsa, against Ehrenberg only one moment I had to go knight f5, and against Ponsa I had very good position. So I played reasonably well in this tournament with white, and I feel bad. I mean, I don't know him, Alexei, but he goes to Texas Tech, so I'm sure he will become a grandmaster one day, very soon. And he has a good coach and good teammates, so he'll become a grandmaster very soon. So I'm sorry, he still has a chance, right?
He still has a chance to make a norm. Yesterday we interviewed him, and he mentioned that he needs 1 out of 2 to score his norm. Do you think that could have been pressure on him for today's round?
I think so.
Going into
I'm going to explain
round?
that he lost many. I mean, not lost. I mean, he missed small psychological points. Is it his last norm or what?
Yes, he said he had 2
okay.
norms, and he was going to go for his third norm in this tournament,
Okay.
and he needed 1 out of 2. He was pretty happy with his draw yesterday. And today you played in this tournament a lot of e4, and for today you decided to go for c4.
Yeah, I think he didn't expect that because in the database, the last game I have in c4 is back to 2014. So.
Would you mind speaking up a little bit
Okay, I'll
to
speak
make
up a
sure that...
little bit. Okay.
So...
Do you happen to have chess piece here, Caleb?
No.
No? Chess
All right.
piece? No?
No,
Because
very good.
Okay, this line, can we go further, please? Few moves?
Yes.
Okay.
This is pretty theoretical.
Yeah. I mean, regular
Knight
moves.
c7,
Yeah, and d3.
d3.
And then after e5, this knight h3, I think Navarra played against Caruana, MVL Caruana, some game like that.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Lenderman pointed out to me this idea, and I analyzed it for the US team in Kazakhstan, this position.
So, by the way, Elshan, for those of you who are watching, he was the captain of U.S. men's...
The
coach of the U.S. men's team in the World Chess Championship earlier this year.
Yep.
And you're helping some of the players.
So this, I think h5, bishop e7 is the best idea, but I think what he played is reasonably okay.
To try to go for some attack.
Yeah, f4, h4, something like that. I think there's a game of Navarra played in the Czech league against some Polish player, and MVL against Caruana. I extensively went over. It looks very benign, but it's not exactly like that.
So you need to have a lot of analysis there to play that position.
Not a lot.
Maybe,
you have to know a few things. I mean.
But bishop e7 seems like a natural move.
Yeah.
But
castle. Now, for example, one thing is he cannot go h5 anymore, because if he goes h5, I go f4. If he goes h4, I go f5. I lock it, and then the knight sits on e4. And bishop on e3, and this is a very beautiful blockade, knight f2, and the h5 becomes irrelevant.
So do you bring this knight to e4 and then bishop e3?
I mean, I have to also go g4 at some point. He has to go hg, knight g4, knight e4, and bishop e3. Very solid blockade, and the bishop on c8 is not in the game.
Right,
and that's the problem he had the entire time, I think. But
black will not be able to really take advantage of the h file because the queen cannot come into play. All right. So you went for knight c6.
So yeah, it's a fine move, and I played
f4 seems very beautiful to try to get maybe your knight into play if you're going to capture.
Actually, I was still going for the idea with f5. I took with a g pawn, but I think with the knight it's possible. But my plan is to play take and play f5 and e4.
Yes,
and that's very dangerous.
Saw the final position clearly.
Here I expected bishop takes h3 actually.
Okay.
Because then later on maybe he can, okay, I have 2 bishops, then he can castle, and my attack doesn't go anywhere. He can blockade on dark squares. So I was planning to go bishop g2 back, king h1, bishop e3, bishop g1.
Oh, beautiful idea. Trying to put your bishops kind of in the other side of black's king, but just focusing on
I don't think
the,
I have any more an attack, because that f5 idea goes with knight f4 coming to d5, but without the knight, I don't think I have a... But I think he has enough time to equalize here.
So your knight was kind of helpful for him not having been able to take your knight now.
I was very happy when he castled. Another move was f5. I was thinking maybe he would go f5, but then I will go e4. And then bishop e3, knight f2, and that's the kind of position I want to get the center. So, but it's like a sort of a King's Indian position, and I knew that he's kind of trying to play solid, because he didn't go for his main line, which is he usually plays Grunfeld. So he's trying. So I thought that I get the fighting position, and I was playing fast, so I was just getting ahead. So
psychological, you were ready, because you probably thought he's going to try to go for 2 draws in his next 2 rounds. So
yeah, I mean, next round he has white, so he has a very good chance. So
yeah.
So this, and then I was also surprised after that this move. Can you go back, please? Another interesting move here is g6, which is very counterintuitive. Because if he goes bishop h6, this is a bad move, bishop h6. Then bishop takes f5, you give up exchange, and then all the dark squares are weak.
Would he take with the queen or
bishop? And then
bishop?
It's bad. I wasn't going for this. I was going to play e4, but then I thought he can go bishop f6, bishop g7, trying to hold. It seems that he really underestimated my attack. It's nothing. I don't know what's the evaluation here. I was very happy. After knight d4, I felt very confident. I thought I have advantage.
Well, you have a very good chain of pawns over here, with pointing towards the king side, and black is not really developed yet, so...
Yeah, and not enough defense, right? There's no knight...
yeah, there's no knight in
f6,
f6, the knight is over there.
Obviously, I have the problem with d3, but I always can go knight f2, defend it, and I always have the g file, and the queen goes to h5. So I was pretty happy out of the opening. I don't know what the computer evaluation is, but I got what I wanted, which was a...
Yeah, pretty good position. I really didn't think b5 was very good for black. It seems like he's trying to get some play on them.
I don't know. What does the
We tried to avoid engines here,
Okay.
Alshan. Trying to make basic, not basic, but as human commentaries
I was
as
very
possible.
happy. I thought he must go bishop d6, f6, queen e7, I thought. But and I'm not sure if my move is good.
After b5, bishop f4? Why not?
Actually, it's not bad, but...
I mean, this is a very beautiful idea. You actually give up the pair of bishops, and you give the bishop that seemed to be the good bishop in order to get a beautiful knight on the outpost. And
the
then
initiative that plays on. So, but he has to go bishop b7. He simply blundered. I think he missed knight f2. Can we go further? Bishop after
so
b4?
bishop b7, you think here, to try to control d5.
And I was planning to just play slow, but I mean, I have always knight f2, king h1, and...
Yeah, just slowly improve your position.
Knight g4, queen h5, and knight g4. I mean, I think it's what's advantage.
Black is not really ready to take control over the d3
b5
pawn.
is not really a big deal. I can even go rook c1, b4, knight b1, knight d2, knight c4.
So he went b4, and now he missed this
after
knight
this,
d5.
I think no, he didn't miss this. I think he missed knight f2 here. Knight goes to g4, and here actually I think the best practical try for black is to play rook d8. I was afraid of this. And I haven't decided what to do, but knight g4, rook takes d5, and give up the queen and create a blockade.
Yeah. I remember this kind of ideas myself when I played the youth championship last round, the one that I actually won. I was always worried that my opponent could sacrifice the queen and create a blockade, but yeah, this could be kind of annoying indeed. But after knight c6, you're
this is very
completely destroying the
center. Yeah,
center.
He missed, because now we can show a very beautiful lines. First of all, queen d4 doesn't work, because after queen takes d4, c takes d4 is forced. Rook ac1, and after bishop b7, just this cheap rook takes c6, and we take way too many pieces.
Yeah, this is
game over. 3 pieces for the rook is game over.
And
so and cd4
can you do the same, or
I can? Well, I can play rook c1, but the queen is there. I first have to kick the queen. I was going to play rook knight d3 actually, or knight g4. But let's just start with knight g4 actually.
Okay.
Knight actually, I don't know which one is nicer.
Okay. Well,
I mean, if
you
goes queen
have
b8,
to double check everything, of course.
Yeah, I mean queen d6, I go e5 because if he takes rook e1, and then I take the bishop.
Yeah.
And if he goes, can we go back please? And if he goes queen b8, I again have the move knight rook c1. And if bishop
And
e7,
then the same kind of
story,
idea.
yeah. Maybe
Beautiful.
with knight on d3 is nicer because then later on I have the blockade too. I could
Sure,
understand, yeah.
but knight in g4, you always have ideas of knight f6, knight h6, sacrificing the knight and mating. So he went for queen b8, and then, you know, you're just bringing
here
your queen.
I have many nice moves, but I thought I have to go principle. I have to go for the mate.
I think you did choose the best possible
Okay.
moves, and e5 was very nice. We were
Yeah.
rooting. This is a
Yeah,
moment
I was-
that I actually saw the position. I saw e5 was.
Yeah, e5. I think he must. His only defense is queen e8. There's a nice line here. I go knight takes e7. Now knight takes e7. He cannot take with the knight.
Yeah, because the bishop
hanging.
is hanging.
Queen takes. Bishop f d5 check. King h8. Rook f3. Now I'm threatening to take on
Yeah.
h7 and mate. g6. F takes g6. Knight takes d4. E takes f6. Knight takes f3 check. Bishop takes f3. Rook takes f6.
Is
and
this
bishop
variation
takes,
completely forced? Probably.
bishop takes b7.
b7. Now you want to take.
and then I win a piece. Yeah.
Beautiful, very beautiful one.
Let me
But
see
after king
if-
h8, after king
No,
h8,
there's
it
knight
was
f4
just-
is game over. Then
Oh, yeah,
so-
and then bishop d5, threatening knight g6, or very, very beautiful win. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks
It's
for
great to
having
have you here. Really
Fun
nice.
playing this game.
You know, it's nice to come back sometimes. I know you're.
Yeah, I mean,
Sometimes you're not so confident in yourself.
no,
but
I wasn't
think-
really confident actually if he had gone for the queen sacrifice.
I'm
Actually.
I'm sure you would have found some way
Yeah, but
to.
he
to come back.
obviously wasn't any good. He missed d4. That's why he went back knight c6, and he missed knight f2. So I think he was under psychological pressure.
All right.
I mean, I'm sure he'll become a GM soon, maybe tomorrow.
We will find it out.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, Elshan. It was great having you here.
Thank you. Thanks
we're
for having
gonna
me.
we're gonna go back to analyze some of the other very cool games
Azarov's game was very interesting.
in Group B and in Group A. Yeah, for sure.
Sabina versus Erdos peace sacrifice. It was
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Well, we'll be sure to check on those games. Thanks for
Absolutely.
joining
Thanks for
us, and we'll see you maybe tomorrow. Try your best tomorrow. Wish you good luck for the last round.
Thanks.
As Caleb is coming back to join me here, let us go back to our game of the day. Our pick of the day, Sergey Azarov against Christopher Yu, and then we'll have to go back to the A group as well, since we kind of went for the beautiful result early on today. Caleb just is back in studio.
Yes, indeed. Good to be back in the chair. The very nice interview from Elshan. I wanted to mention he's a very gracious winner.
Yeah.
You don't hear many chess players apologizing to their opponent for ruining their norm chances.
Yeah.
Normally it's like, oh yeah, I killed the guy, I checked knight g6 and d4, and
Yeah.
I'm the best. But of course, Elshan, very very professional, and wants to see his peers do well.
Yeah, and also, Elshan did go to Texas Tech University, and now his opponent is going there. So, of course, you still want the people who go to the same
Yes.
university as you did
Of course.
to do well. But this is a game that should have a winner, and you cannot let yourself influence by any external factors. You have to try to just
Of course.
play the game, and he had
I wouldn't count Alexei Sorokin out just yet either.
yeah, I don't think we
very,
should.
Very good chances for him to still norm, just
Yeah.
one win away. And some players, of course, struggle with that kind of pressure. But I think a lot of chess players start thriving when they
they're under more pressure.
it's they somehow play worse when they know they just have to draw than when they know they have to win.
Yeah.
Somehow it's kind of relieving to just say, all right, I got to go win.
Yeah, I
And
need
then
to try
just
to
go
give
play
my
your
best chance.
chess.
Yeah, and also tomorrow I believe Alexei Sorokin is going to have the white pieces, so
Yes.
should be an interesting.
I'm
game
not
for
sure
him.
who he's actually paired against, but he should have the white pieces tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah, he should have the white pieces and try his best, to win the last round and get his final norm.
So why don't we
But-
talk about what's going on in this key matchup in Group B between Sergey Azarov and Christopher Yu. I think you introduced the game a bit, but
Yeah, I did not realize that the queens were going to be traded. As Elshan was getting set up for the game, we had this position where White had just played knight to f4, putting pressure on e6, and I thought White would have some interesting attacking ideas, but a few moves later, the queens are off the board, and
interesting to note, knight f4 makes more than one threat. There's things like knight g6 in the
Yeah,
air. There's things
yeah.
like knight h5, threatening to take that bishop. And then,
Sacrificing, yeah, and so it's not really super easy in this position for black, but queen f7 seemed to have been the only move, and
holding
now
things down.
I wonder if there was something else that white could have done in this position to try to, I don't know, just keep more pressure. I'm not sure if queen trades. I mean, of course, queen trades does make sense because you do have this f4 idea afterwards, getting this knight away. Try to go for the weakness. But
And a lot of people, when they're trying to attack, they think, oh, well, I need the queen on the board, so I have mating threats. But sometimes queens are better defenders than attackers.
Yeah.
And that seems like the case here, with the black queen is covering f7, it covers g6, it indirectly covers h7 and g7. And by getting rid of that queen, maybe some of these weaknesses actually become easier to attack.
that is true. I mean, so I guess there's no other way for white to actually be able to put more pressure there other than trading queens.
Yeah.
So Sergei Azarov goes for the queen trade, knight takes, and now of course we have this kind of idea, as I mentioned. f4, try to take advantage of that pawn, and Christopher Yu goes for knight d5. All right.
Yeah, Patrick Daly mentioning kind of a bizarre position. The 5th rank is entirely occupied.
I know,
We don't see it
it's
too often.
rare. It's rare that you see something like that, for sure. Let's do my favorite thing, which is putting arrows.
Yeah, we always talk about centralizing your pieces, and it's tough to get more central than those black knights.
Yeah, so what would have happened here after f4? I wonder, why is it that Sergei Azarov did not go for this move? Was he worried the knight would go away and then b2 would be hanging?
Well, let's just play a move, knight
I mean,
g6, knight
oh.
f7 maybe, actually,
I was
I think
thinking-
you're right. Knight f7 seems
And
better.
then if we take, maybe black would capture this bishop first. And then you have to
pawn
take
takes.
back, and now maybe capture here.
Things seem to be
Although-
getting a bit liquidated, but
That's true, but the thing is that black cannot capture that pawn just yet because there'll be some back rank. Maybe, maybe not. We can take
it
here.
seems
Oh no, we cannot take yet. We need to
possible.
move this rook
Yeah.
here first.
Bishop e5 might be a good move for black. Kind of hemming in this rook for the moment. In fact,
And restricting that knight.
yeah, I don't think bishop e5 really makes a threat against the rook because there's always rook e8 if the rook is ever attacked. But things like rook c2 might come very quickly, and then there's pressure on the g2
Knight
pawn,
e3.
pressure on the king.
Yeah, and g5 as well. So a lot of ideas here. So
Yeah, f4 of course, even though it might win a pawn momentarily, it does weaken the king.
that is true. Yeah.
You know, you hear people say, you know, when you play f4, of course that diagonal is weakened from a7 to g1. But actually, in endgames, more relevant is sometimes the second rank really is weakened
That is
by
true.
pushing the f pawn. The g2 pawn is obviously more accessible once that f pawn is out of the way.
So Sergei Azarov is putting a little bit more pressure. He's saying, I can play f4 pretty much anytime. Let me try to improve my final piece, bring it into the game, get a little bit more pressure on actually both central files, because we are talking about two kind of backwards pawns, I guess, if you can call those
it's
like
a very
that, or
strange
hanging.
structure. But
And having the knights in front, I mean, certainly this one in d5 cannot be pushed away by a pawn, but if
Yes.
you do lose the e6 pawn, then we can have some pressures there. And I believe, Christopher, you played bishop f8 in this position, and this is the current position that we have.
wow.
There's a threat to the bishop in g5.
So f4 is getting more and more tempting every move that passes. But can we play it now? So f4, knight f7, I guess it's just the same idea. But I feel like I could even just move my bishop out of the way. Right? What if I just play bishop h4, and now your bishop's not ready to capture on b2, and e6 remains
You
hanging.
retreated. Another idea that I had that's not maybe as great, but it's kind of a cool idea. Oopsie, I'm sorry, not that one. Not that one. Rook takes
The
to
capture.
d5. Would this move work is the question.
Maybe we have to take on g5,
That's
but then
what I
you
thought,
take
but-
my rook.
Mhm. And if you take here, my idea is of course this, and capture, and then... I
Yeah, rook
think-
takes and then rook takes e6 might be
Yes,
powerful.
yes,
Of
that's
course,
what I...
you don't want to take the pinned piece. You want to leave it there until black manages to unpin. But this looks suspiciously like checkmate. Actually. Might have to play h5 or something.
Kind of
ridiculous,
difficult,
but.
yeah. So I don't know. This rook, after f4, knight f7, I feel that rook takes d5. Looks like because if you try to capture with the rook, thinking, well, I'll have your knight attacked.
Maybe a little more clever, but
I will still take here, and then you're in big trouble, I think, because what are you going to do?
Yeah, so let's
go back.
Circle back
Let's
to
go
f4.
Let's go to f4.
See what options.
Maybe
black
there's some
has here.
better options here for black.
So okay, here's an idea. What if I take your bishop?
Now,
Yeah.
all right.
Sacrificing the exchange, but once you capture back with the pawn, my knights are,
You're trying to create a fortress. I understand.
They're standing forever.
I understand. Today is about fortresses. I think we should have made a theme for every day.
Yeah. Maybe yesterday
Maybe
was
next
endgames, and today can be
maybe some fortresses.
Somehow I don't believe in this, though.
Yeah, I mean...
The knights can actually be pushed away. Of course, they can be attacked by white's knight or white's bishop. Or even some sacrifice eventually,
But it could be something a little bit annoying, I think, if f4 were to be played. I wonder if there's any other option here for black after f4. Because technically, you don't really have a threat, that big of a threat, right? Because if you're going to take my knight, I take your bishop, and then your knight is going to be attacked, and it's kind of restricted. So unless capturing in d6 is going to lead to some clear win.
So our problem with knight f7 is rook takes d5, right? So how can we try to solve that problem? Maybe rook g6 is a move here. Just giving the king a flight square and preparing to play knight f7. Also defending e6.
I like that move. Now what remains to be seen is if I can take. Probably not. I don't think so, because if I take here, I think you can just take. Right? Or maybe
yes.
not. Maybe not. Wait.
I think so. Probably you don't want to capture the knight because then d7 becomes strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can take my my pawn. I can play. Maybe I can't get away with taking your knight here. This looks kind of interesting, actually. f4.
What? No, really? I don't think that should work.
Just trying to defend.
Because you did talk about seventh or second rank, right? So I feel that rook d7 would get to be very annoying.
Well, I want to play f3.
You want to do the same idea we learned yesterday or 2 days ago from Renat Jumabai, right?
E3 works with f3.
And it works with e6. Happening. There was someone else who did yesterday e6. It was in the A group. Someone played it against.
Yeah, I'm struggling to remember who it was.
Was it against Victor Erdos? Was.
Let me cheat and look it up.
Okay, but for no. It was against Harutyunyan. Whoever beat Harutyunyan played that move. Maybe it was Federico.
Of course, that was the game between Federico Ponce and Tigran Harutyunyan, as you mentioned. But okay, this
so you won that
might be slightly far gone from reality, but this would be. It's looking testy for black, right?
It does.
Maybe black is holding on in the specific variations, but Christopher, you definitely has to be careful here. And Sergei Azarov down actually to 8 minutes, it seems.
And he has not made a move yet in this position. This is the current position we have on the board.
We're only on move 27, so definitely going to be looking at some time pressure here.
That's true. We have seen him in a lot of time trouble in this tournament, but he's still one of the leaders.
He's managed it well.
He's a strong chess player, so this could be his play.
Some players just have that sixth sense where they just rely on their intuition and play perfect moves. But I think we spent enough time on this game. Maybe it's time to check out what's going on in the A group.
Let's do that.
Here we have our pairings for the A group coming up momentarily. We have Sethu playing against Grigory Oparin. Jeffrey Zhang is against Var Akobian, and that'll be a game to look out for. Of course, Jeffrey just a half point behind Renat Jumabayev. And if he wins today, he might be able to close that gap. Sam Sevian is playing a very interesting game against Victor Erdos as well. Daniel Naroditsky is against Alexei Sarana. And our key matchup of the day is, of course, Hovhannes Kabuzian against Renat Jumabayev. Renat, the leader, with 5 points out of 7. He actually has some small chance to clinch the victory today in the A group. Things really have to go his way, though. He has to win, Jeffrey has to lose, and Sam and Daniel, I think, both have to draw. So
Yeah,
highly
I mean-
unlikely, but possible. And Renat seems to be down to 1 minute on his clock.
It's crazy, and we have to say, Hovhannes Gabuzian, he had an amazing start in this tournament with that
Yes.
first round win. Seemed really
Seemed he
beautiful.
was on form, seemed he was playing very, very
Yeah, and then
well.
after that, he didn't really quite have his tournament. But today, what an interesting position we have here.
Yeah, this is a crazy imbalance, and one that should favor white.
should normally, but is
But
it?
I don't know.
I think it should favor white, and we were just talking. I think
It
that,
all comes down to king safety here, right?
yeah, which king is safer? I would say white's king for the moment, but
Yeah,
there's some
definitely.
ideas. So, what is this imbalance we're talking about? We have 2 rooks and a pawn for 3 pieces. I mean, that
Yeah.
should certainly be better, like 2 points, right?
Let's do some math.
Better than-
5 plus 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. And the 2 bishops and the knight, of course, only worth 9. But it's about king safety and it's about piece coordination. And here I think both favor white. The rooks are working together. They have already invaded the black camp. And meanwhile, the black pieces, while they are sort of defending each other, they're not really working towards a goal. They're kind of
Not
just holding.
really, no. Yeah. And black actually just made a move, queen to a7. I have to say, I'm really surprised to see Jumabayev in time trouble. I have not really seen him in that much of a time trouble
no,
this
we
tournament.
were talking him up at the top of the hour with he's never been worse. He's always got plenty of time.
I
He
feel like we're
really hasn't missed any
jinxing
chances.
a lot of things with our.
Yeah, I think he actually had a great position earlier on today. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious what happened. Because this, I think, to be clear, I think this is winning for white if white plays
Should
well.
be. I mean, I don't really see. I mean, there are a couple of threats, but like, for example, getting the queen to a1, trying to bring the knight to g4, f3, maybe try to trap white's king in the corner, but
Yeah, this is wishful thinking, though. Maybe.
wishful thinking, of course, but you have to try to create some ideas for yourself, and it's of course very unpleasant to have to play with 1 minute, 3 more moves to play, and with your opponent having 30 minutes on the
Yes.
clock. Imagine how stressful this can be for Renat Jumabayev. I don't think we can talk about a win here unless he gets somehow a miracle.
I mean, this is the type of position where white could blunder, right?
Yeah, I mean,
there
we've
are
seen
some threats against the white king, but barring any tragedies, this should be going
should-
quite well for Gabuzian.
So, which move would you say we should go back to look at? What went wrong? Do you have
well,
a specific moment
Let me go back.
in time? Maybe around move.
So I
20?
think after move 20, knight c5, I thought Renat was coordinating his pieces quite well. He was evicting the white rook from b7, and I thought that this was actually going to be slightly favorable for black.
Yeah, I mean, black does have slightly more space on the king side.
In the
he
center
has-
as well.
In the center, he has the pair of bishops, which of course is also very important. And it seems like he has
And,
played
I really liked black's next move as well.
d5, yeah, trying to get a little bit more space. I like it for sure. And opening up the position. When you have the pair of bishops, you should do that.
Yes.
Now we see this knight b5.
And
And
this was a move that actually struck me as kind of odd. I thought
knight d7 or knight b5?
knight b5. I thought it was time for white to challenge this center. I thought maybe the move d4 was going to be played, because after knight b5, I think black just has too many options to start opening things up for those bishops.
So d4 looks like a very interesting option. Typically, yeah, you want to try to put your pawns on dark square and
Yeah, cement the black pawns on a square where your bishop can attack them.
of course,
It does give up some light squares, but you do have this light squared bishop to compensate for it.
maybe knight e4 was going to be black's answer in this position.
Yes.
You want
but
to do
I
some
think I just want to capture it.
the knight
Yeah.
like this.
And then maybe I can play. I wanted to play like queen b. I assumed like d takes e4.
Yeah,
maybe.
this should be the way to go.
Yeah, I thought queen b2, but that actually traps my queen.
Yeah.
So perhaps that is not the way to continue.
No, rook a2 is going to be kind of annoying. I'm not so sure about this d4 move. You have to be a little bit careful. You know, Gabuzian in this tournament, in the games that he ended up losing, I noticed he did push the pawns a lot. He created some holes for himself. And he's an aggressive player, but he has to be careful with the pawn pushes. Maybe he was trying to do that.
I don't know if I'm ready to give up on this line just yet.
Okay,
Maybe I can play queen e1, and my idea is simply I want to take e5, and I want to put a knight on d4. And I think that's going to be enough to cover my position, and from there I can start invading with my rooks. It seems a bit slow. But,
so what if, for example, I play either rook c2 or rook a2? I can't make up my mind.
Well, if you play rook c2, I think I have rook b8.
Okay, and then I have to retreat, or bishop there. Okay.
So I wanted to take on e5 and play knight d4 against rook a2. I assumed bishop e5, but maybe I was wrong.
Yeah, no, I was going to play rook c2. I always wanted rook c2, but you always have this rook b8, and then bishop c8. I'm not sure if it's sufficient. This is kind of my idea.
Right.
Just cover that, and then try to take advantage of my two rooks on the second rank, of course.
I think I can even play bishop f1 if
I think
needed.
that's what you should do. I don't think knight e4 is really working, but...
Yeah, the problem is when the rooks get too active on attacking my king, you start to leave your own king behind, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
And we actually have some key news in Group B. Emilio Cordova has actually won his game against Justin Wang. This moves Emilio actually into sole first place with 5.5 out of 8. Emilio, one of the leaders going into today's round. Perhaps this is the game that sets him apart.
Yeah, and I think we're going to try to have him come down here and walk us through the game. Today it seems like the games are finishing a little bit faster than
these players
it used to be a right time for commentary, but maybe
came out for blood.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see his thoughts on his game and actually check it out, since that's a game that we didn't really look at. But here, I totally agree with you, Caleb.
Maybe we should get back to what actually happened in the game. This was a bit of a
but it is for sure interesting, but you have to be careful on how you push the pawns for sure. I do like it. I don't really see it at this point.
Definitely. You know, it creates weaknesses, though.
Yes,
it's always something to be wary of.
But knight b5, yes, does seems a little bit strange. Maybe he was preparing to play d4. He wanted, in case of a trade, to have the both knights there somehow, maybe, or who knows.
Sure.
Although, you know, with the knight in b5, you're not really controlling e4.
Yeah, and that was the problem. But so knight d7.
But now as the knight left, now
maybe
he was
d4
like,
here?
you know, he was like, okay, go away knight
so this
first.
This is what happened.
Yeah, this is what happens, seems like. So now he's basically trying to do the same thing, but maybe he thought the knight in b5 would be helpful for him. And then knight to f4, bishop f7, and now bishop f1. All right, so he's improving his pieces a little bit now that that diagonal got locked down by those pawns. But this is good for white because black's bishops, they need open diagonals.
Yeah,
and right now we just got them closed. So
maybe Renaud really had to play a bit more quickly in the center.
Maybe he had to do something like d4 himself or try to play e4.
Yeah.
Maybe that knight d7 wasn't the best approach. Or maybe he thought he would get some attacking ideas and he could have missed this.
Knight takes d5.
Very interesting temporary, sacrifice, but now there's this knight c3 discovery, and white is going to be able to, like, for example, if you go rook d6, I think.
Yeah, perhaps just takes and bishop c4.
Yeah, and then you have to give the exchange. Wait, is this really? I would go for this. I would go for this instead of instead of the other thing that happened in the game, right?
Well, while you catch up with present day in this game, I'm actually going to step out of my chair again. I believe we have Emilio Cordova ready to take us through his very important win in the B group.
All right, so let's take a look how we have reached the current position in this game. So, rook takes c3, queen takes c3, rook c6. So black thought, okay, I still have two pieces, but he probably missed this nice bishop c4 move. And now things are getting traded and it could go in white's favor. So after king h7, okay, so now I can see how we got into that position. So black decided to sacrifice another exchange, but this should really be better for white. And now rook c1 protecting the rook, king g6, and we are reaching the current position. All right, but we do have Grandmaster Emilio Cordova with us today. A very nice win. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We haven't had the chance to go over your game yet. Tell us, how do you feel? How do you feel about the tournament right now? You just took the lead after the win.
Yeah,
You
I
didn't have a
think-
good start in the tournament, but
Yeah, it was so terrible, I must say. But I have some luck and bad luck too, because as I said before, the second round I couldn't play.
Yeah.
Because I was losing since the first 8 moves. So
Mm-hmm.
and yesterday I was kind of lucky, so I say, okay, maybe I have the luck by my side too. So I
change,
say-
luck change. Maybe
Yeah,
you
luck
did
change.
something.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe just more positive. My attitude probably is
Mhm.
more positive. And I mean, today I was kind of lucky too, I guess, because probably this game should be draw, but somehow I had the feeling that I have no risk. So
Mhm.
that was my goal, that play for free. And yeah, and unfortunately for Justin, he played this H3, which is I think is losing the move 37.
this move.
Yeah, looks natural to trade pawns when you have a bad position, but I mean probably the right plan should be like bishop f1, bishop g2 at some point, but I wasn't so sure because to capture on d4 it's kind of hard. But definitely
Yeah, because you enter.
bishop c2 was a mistake too, because now I have a lot of extra tempi, but I don't know.
Do you think? Let's go back a little bit from the beginning of the game.
Sure.
Did you have this line prepared?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like some of these kids, you see them young, and you're thinking, okay, they must
Yeah, they-
not know everything, but then suddenly
Yeah, suddenly they know everything.
they
Yeah.
know everything.
Yeah, and I have a lot of energy and confidence, but
This is theory for
Yeah, this
all the
is-
way, like
yes,
very
pretty
old
straight-
theory.
forward, so g3. And I remember I
Awesome.
saw, I think it was Fabi against Sevian,
Mhm.
that Fabi played g6, so I say, okay, if Fabi played this, should be okay,
So you,
because
so you just
he's a
follow
serious
him.
player,
Okay.
I just follow his
Yeah, and
steps.
And I think for our viewers, I think it's good to know that if you're trying to play a good line, if you're following some of the top players, most likely they have the stuff analyzed. Most likely,
Yeah,
and not always.
Not always, yes, true.
In Blitz, for example,
Yeah,
Rapid,
yeah.
they probably don't show everything.
Yeah, true. So I thought that this position it's okay for black at least, and I think this in general is good for black. A black equalize pretty simple.
Hmm
So
And you have these plans with F5 at some point,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
so-
you're not rushing.
Yeah, I mean, at some point I just can play bishop d6 and take on d5 at some point, not in this right moment.
Yeah.
And I guess the black position is too solid. So, yes, but yeah, then he just played this plan, which is very interesting, king h1 and f4, with b3 obviously. I don't know if queen a7 was the right move. Then I felt like, okay, the queen belongs to the c5 square, but I don't know, maybe I can improve a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. I think I've seen it before. Putting to
The queen on
protect,
c5,
yeah, to
yes.
protect d6, and then you also have ideas
Just push
maybe
the pawns, yes.
on
But
the
maybe...
and you support maybe knight d4. or
Yeah, maybe I
something,
just can play here a4. I was thinking, but okay,
Just
I,
to,
maybe I don't know. I don't know if there is any difference, but because at some point, okay, my queen is good on a7, but I don't know. Maybe I can try to do something more.
and
with,
do you want to play with b3 or a3? I think b3, right?
B3 at some point,
should,
yes.
should make sense.
Yeah,
Try
so
to make sure white does not get this chain of pawns. over
Yes. So if white have to play b3 now, okay, now white.
here. But
Probably
then
is not.
maybe you take
Yes, I take, and definitely black is okay here
rook
for sure.
a3, knight there.
Yeah,
That's
looks
going to be
looks great for black. At least not worse. So
Yeah.
that's why probably queen a7 was like I was just playing fast, and
But
then
it-
I realized that okay, it's natural, but probably not the most precise.
I think you always have a4. If white is going to play b3, you always have that.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't need to necessarily rush
Yeah.
with the.
Yeah, but still, I felt like queen a7. I don't know. I was
You
kind of
weren't so-
disappointed. Yeah.
Okay.
So after the, yeah, 4 and
And
yeah,
f5. Very typical.
Yeah, I know
way
that
of-
it's pretty common, but suddenly I just missed this knight c2, to be honest. I mean, he captured everything,
Okay.
take, and knight c2, I just missed this. So
Okay.
I thought maybe I have to capture on d5 and try to play for a draw, but then I decided, okay, I have pair of bishop, I should try it.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no necessity to play for a draw here. Okay, probably objectively is draw, but I thought that maybe with the pair of bishops, at least I should have pretty good compensation for
Yeah,
you.
a white knight here in d5 is very
Looks pretty,
beautiful.
yeah.
But it doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's just and now you got rid of with that trade you got rid of your backwards pawn in d6.
Yeah.
Now you have e5, but it's a passed pawn.
Yeah,
so that
yeah,
could
yeah.
help
So
you.
it's not so bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that pawn helped me a lot.
Yeah, I could see the final position for
Yeah,
sure. It
yeah.
was.
So I saw this bishop g4, which is kind of the. I don't know if it's good, but at least looks like white needs to trade everything on d4.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's worse. And I saw this endgame with a pair of bishops.
Okay,
And I
so
saw,
you
okay, maybe here and I have
And
something.
then rook d2. Maybe this wasn't the best, but where else to put the rook?
Yeah, I think rook d2 actually is the only move for some reason, because if rook e1, rook e8, and rook c1 looks like very strange. And
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, looks like almost black is winning. So rook d2. I thought I was winning actually here. I said, okay, I'm winning, but then I realized that it was not so simple. So
So he
check.
brings the king.
Yeah, this is kind of.
And now knight f4.
Yeah,
Just
I
keeping
think-
your bishop away. But g5, okay, the knight doesn't stay there too long.
Mhm.
Ah,
Yeah,
so-
but it will come back.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you
so
have
the-
to play g4 to open up your bishop.
Yeah, now knight f4. And the first line that I saw, it was rook e1, king f2. I thought king f2, but then I saw this bishop f1, and after bishop f1, I don't know. I was kind of worried, to be honest.
You
Because,
cannot-
okay, it looks pretty, but I didn't know what
It's
to do.
not going to be enough if you take here and rook here. I'm just asking. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe not. Maybe somehow he can get the rook endgame.
yeah, I was afraid of the rook and game, to be honest. Maybe this is still is good for black objectively, because I would take the pawn and black has no risk. But I thought maybe I just can improve my king position a little bit more.
Yeah, I think you probably shouldn't rush because you have such a good
Yeah, pressure. And
pressure, and you can take that knight anytime you want.
Yeah.
It's still pinned.
And it's
You
not
can
so clear
improve.
for white to make a move, reasonable.
Yeah,
to
and
move.
and he has this protected passed pawn, but going forward, I mean, it's not going to.
Yeah. Once the pawn
he cannot
starts
push
to move,
it. Yeah, then you take it.
Yeah.
And so it's good there, but
Yeah.
for a king and pawn endgame, that would be great. But he did not get the chance to take it, I guess,
Yeah,
to get into that. So you're improving your position, and then finally you decided it's the right time. There's no more improvement for me.
Yeah, I thought that king e5 maybe was an option, but then I saw this bishop h7, and I wasn't sure about this line. So it looks materialistic, but okay, his pawn is a pawn in endgame.
Yeah, I mean this will
So-
be weak at some point maybe, but
Yeah, I was thinking rook h8, but then I saw something like I don't know, bishop c2 once again.
yeah, because
Uh,
when you take there, he
Yeah,
will-
that was.
he will take d4.
Yeah, now I need my king on f6. So.
yeah.
Yeah, and I realized that okay, maybe
You
it's
have to
time
go
to
for it.
trade, and because I saw this bishop c2 looks like not natural, at least because it's not covering the e2 square.
Maybe he should have moved it.
Bishop
but-
f1, maybe I was thinking.
Yeah.
Bishop f1 and wait for rook e4 and then try to trade everything and getting into the rook endgame.
Or maybe just go back, huh?
Or maybe rook d3, but then I can take on f4 and take back.
I wonder if you can take with the rook.
Yeah.
You can take with the bishop.
I can.
Wait,
ah,
can take
okay,
with
with the rook looks beautiful.
I don't know. It looks
Like
nice.
that.
I
Yeah,
don't
they
know.
take on h2, right? Yeah, pair
Yeah,
of
I think they
bishop,
should be
don't know.
winning. You have a lot of pawns.
Yeah, looks like that. I think rook c2, bishop h2, and if
That
bishop.
pawn is, but you
No, I should be winning. Should be winning, I guess.
not
maybe
sure
not.
how. Maybe h5.
Yeah, I was thinking just capture on h2, maybe. So, oh, but yeah, you're right. Maybe I have to push the pawn.
Maybe you
immediately.
can bring the king now. King,
Yeah,
king
looks-
to f4 and then go with that pawn. It should be.
Looks
Because
nice, but
looks nice. It needs to be calculated.
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
just
yeah.
let's just
maybe
leave it to
h5, the
to
move that you say was
calculation.
better. But okay,
So-
it's
But bishop c2 simply allows this.
yeah, and,
And then
it's
h5.
like white cannot move. So that was my thought about
It's like a
this.
rook's wrong position. and
Yeah.
then don't
So
really
now
move.
I just can play rook e3 with an extra tempo.
Mhm.
So maybe here the only move was bishop d1, I guess. And try once again to play this rook endgame. I don't know if I have to take or rook e4 first. I wasn't sure.
And then
Rook e4.
rook e4 and yeah.
So then king f5 and I'm improving my position. Rook e3. So I guess black at least has very
Some-
good
yeah,
practical
good chances
chances
to win.
to win. And I said, okay,
But
it's
he
for
played
free.
he played H3 after
Yeah,
which
H3 and
it's
H3 is
just
losing, yeah.
winning.
Because I saw this plan rook E3, rook C3, and suits 1. And yeah, I mean,
certainly a beautiful game, and now you're the leader of the tournament. You have one more round. You have to try.
for the moment, at
For
least.
the moment, there's
Yeah,
some more games that can catch up with you or maintain
Yeah,
the lead.
yeah,
but
yeah. At least I would try to play my best and try to play more accurate and not blunder because it was so embarrassing. So yeah,
it happens to everyone. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
game of chess. Everyone knows at some point you will blunder. You just need to come back from it. And
Yeah, at least it was not so bad at all. So I'm just kind of happy with my results. For sure, I was winning against Azarov. It was a crazy game, but I
we
was
were
totally
talking
winning.
about that
and
yesterday.
and
2 days ago, was it? 2
Yeah,
days
yeah,
ago,
yeah. And it was like, okay, I saw this queen h5, which was a winning move, but then I said, okay, maybe I just can improve my pieces and then mate.
But then you helped him
Yeah.
because the queen in b3
Yeah,
was
actually, I missed.
protecting.
Yeah, I missed
Yeah.
queen b3. That was the problem. So I say, oh my god, yeah, I missed this, and then I just started to collapse. But okay, yesterday I was lucky, so it was like I can say that it's even, right?
All right, yes,
Yeah, lucky
that's
it's
true.
even.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us today. We wish you good luck in the last round. It's getting
How
really
good.
exciting. And thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, that was Grandmaster Emilio Cordova currently leading the B group. And now we have on the screen Grandmaster Rinat Jumabayev thinking about his very difficult position that we were talking about a little bit earlier. What an interesting position we have. Still, white is clearly... It doesn't seem like black has any counterplay in my opinion here. So I think we're going... Wait a second. Let's think. Maybe f3.
Yeah, hold on.
Hold on for a second.
Checks are legal.
F3 check, we need to see it. But I feel that Gabuzian has calculated this and he does not...
Do you feel that?
I'm not sure.
Hold on, F3.
had so much
say,
time.
Let's say King G3 for the moment. Yeah, so it's good to be back, by the way. Great interview from
It's
Emilio,
great,
but-
yeah,
but
it
this
was-
this caught my eye. I got excited.
It was nice to hear him, discuss the game. We went a little bit over time, I think.
No worries at all.
But
Always
I
great
think
to,
it was
to hear him.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear his thoughts also about his tournament and how he messed up some things. We were right about some things in his previous games. But anyways, back to this very interesting position. So
How is white not checkmated? I don't see it.
I don't know. I just feel like he should have calculated something. Why would he get into this position if he didn't calculate something?
So let's put one of the two legal moves on the board. I'll let you pick.
What is happening?
This is the key to win in analysis. You always pick the side that's winning.
All right. I cannot believe what just happened. Like,
I guess King H3.
yeah,
must
that's
be
what
the
I was
try.
thinking.
But then there's Knight F2, and this is you're dead. You're just dead.
I am.
The Queen G1.
That's mate.
Yeah, Knight H3 is mate.
No, this is mate.
The Queen G4 is mate. Oh yeah, Knight H3 is not mate.
What are we missing?
What's happening?
I'm confused. Is this the correct position? Are we having the correct position? King G3.
How is this possible?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought white was supposed to be clearly winning, so King G3. Is there a mate? Queen G1 check. I go King to F4, and then what do you do? Wait, there's no mate. You're trying to trick me.
Oh, the E pawn is hanging. I
Yeah.
thought Bishop H6 was mate.
No.
Okay.
I freaked out for a second.
I was also
And
very
then-
disturbed.
I'm not rooting for anyone here,
Yeah.
guys. I'm just trying to, just evaluating the position. It seemed like white was winning, so
Personally, I'm rooting for Gabuzian because it makes the last round much more interesting.
Okay.
If Rinat has some work to do to catch up, but
Did he just make a move? Did he play F3? I think he played F3.
He has played F3.
F3 has been played on the board. So this is the
Wow.
current position, guys. F3. And we're anticipating King G3. I mean, right?
Yeah,
He's about to. He
must
made
have
it.
this
King to G3. Okay, this
calculated.
has been calculated.
This is-
Supposedly. I mean, he did
I-
have 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
I
at
mean-
some point you have to trust him. He's a very strong player.
Okay, Rinat
But-
does not look very happy in
No.
this.
I can't. Wow, I don't know if I would have the wherewithal to play like this with white.
It's tough. I mean,
there's
think
always,
of-
at some point you have to trust your calculation, but this is very scary looking. But I
is.
think it all works out for White in the end.
You know what I think is so interesting, because we just pick these games, we say what we think about the players.
Yes.
We seem to be picking a side, and then when we actually pick the side, that person seems to mess up or something. I mean,
Well, if he calculated this well, then he's doing.
no.
doing great.
What I was saying is, we talked about Rinat Jumabayev having not made a single
Oh,
mistake
yes.
in this tournament. Not a
it's
single
the-
mistake, but like
The commentator's curse, right?
yeah, I mean, he had a very good tournament so far. Most of his positions were balanced or better. We didn't really see him in difficulty in this tournament. He had a beautiful win against Jeffrey Chong. Yesterday, he missed some chances against Sam Sevian, but now clearly had a better position, we thought, around move 20-something. And now he gets into this position where
Things have just crumbled.
his pieces are not coordinated. He's going to lose the E4 pawn in the center, and
So
then
yeah, we should mention that the reason why this should be winning for White if Black isn't checkmating is the second the Black stops checking the White king, White is just checkmating Black in 10 different ways. There's
Yes.
Rook C6 check, there's Rook G5 check, there's
yeah,
Queen E8 check,
E8,
there's
so many ideas.
Yeah.
You have to see which one you're going to go for to make sure that king will have no escape. But for sure,
And
if you
yeah,
stop the
there's-
checks, it will be over. So we are anticipating a win for Hofhannes Gabuzian, and maybe if that were to happen, the whole standings will change, and
this blows
we'll
the
have to-
tournament wide open. And I believe we should maybe check on some of those games of the other players in the A group who are probably watching this game quite closely.
I think so.
For example, what's going on with Jeffrey Zhang today against Varakobian? Of course, we had Jeffrey in for an interview yesterday after a very nice win, sort of rebounding after that loss to Renat in the 6th round, I believe. And he said in that interview that Var is someone he struggles with. So let's see what
he
he
did
can...
mention that. And although VAR did have a tough tournament so far, he's not someone to count out. You know, he's played a lot of U.S. championships,
Yes.
has represented the U.S. Olympic team a few times, I think, also. And
Absolutely.
for sure, one of the favorites here at the St. Louis Chess Club, but Jeffrey also. So we have two Americans. There will be sides for sure, but
And I believe, taking a look at the clocks, they're actually in quite severe time pressure. So we'll
Yeah.
see some moves actually coming in here, as they have 7 moves left to make the 40-move time control.
and Black does have an extra pawn in this position, but Black is struggling with their bishop in d7, and White has the pair of bishops. White also has the control over the b file. I mean, I would say White is slightly better because, well, has plenty of
Yes.
compensation. We should say it that way. I always forget because these days, it's whether you're better or not, you look at the engine and you're saying, well, there's a plus for X or Y, meaning white or black, and then you take a side. But here, White's pieces are so much better placed. Black's bishop in d7 is struggling. The rook is still in a8. Some good pieces of Black's, of course, are this rook in a2 and the knight in d5, but
Absolutely.
will he be able to do
So
something about it?
yeah, the key for Jeffrey, right, is to find some way to open up the position, right? That's how you really make use of the bishops. So right now, Black has this kind of light square defense going on with this knight on d5 and this pawn on e6 and c6. But if White can kind of shake loose these pawns somehow, then the bishops will become dangerous.
That will be kind of tough because
Yeah.
f3, e4 is going to weaken this great chain of pawns that you have built.
Well, yeah, I was hoping to just play e4 directly,
Oh.
and perhaps this opens up that c2 to h7 or b1 h7 diagonal as well as the e file. It does weaken my d4 pawn, and this is the downside.
A very interesting decision, pushing that pawn. I was not considering that at all in this position. Maybe I can take.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just thought this would activate my bishop a bit more. Of course, rook a4 might be an option now, but yeah, interesting
Or maybe rook
position.
f8.
Yeah, the
I
e
believe they
file as
made
well.
Did they make some moves?
I do want to mention, as this game progresses here, I believe we are actually going to get Federico Ponce in for an interview. He has just drawn his game against Melik Kapchian, and that brings him to 5 out of 8, just a half point behind the leader, Emilio Cordova, going into the final round.
Okay, yeah, let's have him. It's we
so-
have never had him before for an interview, so unfortunately you have to leave me again. These are always the most painful moments. I have to make sure I'm doing a right commentary by myself. All right, as Federica Perez-Ponza is going to get set up in our studio, we have seen a few more games in this Jeffrey Xiong against Barakobian game. Bishop c2, rook a2, king f1 was played by Jeffrey. He's trying to improve the position of his king, and VAR decided to go ahead and push the pawns on the king side in order to try to open up the h-file. I'm thinking he's might try some king f7, get the rook on the h-file, try to get some activity, maybe go for f2. But as we are waiting for those moves to be played, we have in the studio Grandmaster Perez-Ponza Federico, who has drawn his game today. Thanks for joining us. Tell us about your feeling about the tournament and today's game, being one of the, close to the leader of the tournament right now.
Yeah, so
second
far
position.
it's good. I mean, it's
Good.
a bit surprising that only with +2 we are leading. I mean, shared leading, but still. Today's game, I don't know. I think it was more or less correct. There was 2 or 3 moments where we had some difficult decision to make, but I didn't see anything dangerous either for me or for him. So probably draw was fine. And
Do you want to
yeah.
point out those moments? Unfortunately,
Yes.
we haven't had time to look at your game
Yes,
yet.
sure. Well, we can go
From the opening?
From the opening,
Okay.
yeah. I was expecting he would play this bishop b5 check, and he just go okay.
Yeah,
97,
yeah.
before,
This is theory.
a6 takes 93. He played this a lot of times. So when I was preparing, I saw this idea with e5. The problem is if I start with rook c8, he can play e5. I think there's a game of Xiong. He did this and it's quite good. So e5 has to be played first.
Just
Yeah.
make sure that.
Yeah, queen d3, rook c8, castle, and queen c7. The idea is trying to not play h6 too fast. I mean, usually I want to play h6, so I can play knight f6, and bishop g5 is not a problem. So he can take, go knight d5. So here, there's a game, Xiong against Bashir Lagrave. It was the same. a4, bishop e6, rook d1.
I just want to mention that we
Yeah.
actually have a result in the A group. Gabuzian had just won his game against Rinat Jumabayev, so that kind of takes Rinat from the lead. He was leading the tournament, and now maybe some interesting things are going to
now
happen
it's
in that.
open.
And then it's a little bit open, yeah. That
Yeah.
was a very impressive game, and we might have Gabuzian join us for an interview later. But let's see. So this is pretty still.
Yeah, so this was theory,
theoretical.
and the game of Bashir was instead of bishop g5, knight d2,
E2?
d2.
D2.
The idea is to go f1, so bishop e7, knight f1, and queen c4. I was more or less happy to play this endgame. He can
Okay.
take, go f3, knight e3.
But black should be
Yeah,
doing okay
it's
in
not
this
so easy. I
position.
mean, the
Yeah.
computer might say slight advantage for white, but
Would you take with the bishop?
I
or
guess with the rook
Yeah.
to force f3, and then maybe knight e7, g6, f5, something like that.
Play on this side of the
Yeah,
board. Yeah,
should
and
be
this
more or
is-
less equal. I mean,
Yeah, maybe bishop
so
g5.
he went bishop g5. So now I can play knight h5. That's why the order I went queen c7.
Yes, so that you don't stay
Yeah.
pinned, so you can move the
So,
knight. And
yes.
you're not worried about ideas with knight d5. It's
No,
not
because
so
I guess
easy.
I take and then h6, and then I go back. I can take c2 sometimes.
Yeah. Maybe I can protect c2
Yes.
first, and then.
He went rook ac1 actually.
Yeah, just make
And-
sure. Maybe he was knight d5.
Yeah, so I went h6, bishop
Six.
e3. I went back. This
Yeah.
is all normal. And now I wasn't sure what he would do because he can play knight h4 maybe. And I don't know if I should play queen c4 or g6. Maybe both are okay.
Okay.
I knew this endgame was in general playable, so I
Maybe
wanted
you
to
can
try.
take advantage of those 2 pawns.
Yeah, he did a4, so maybe. So he went knight d2, bishop e7, and knight d5. And this is the first moment I have a big choice.
With what you're going to take the knight?
Yeah, I can take with the knight.
Or
and
the
go bishop d7. I can take with the knight and bishop g4. And I can take with the bishop like I did. But here I thought, if normally I would take with the knight and try to play bishop d7.
G7, yeah, and then play
And then
f5 something.
Yeah, but he can play b3, I think. And then the idea is when I play f5, he will play f4,
Yeah.
and he can play knight c4 as well, and a5 maybe. So my bishop on d7 is really bad. I mean,
Just stabilize the position on
yeah,
that side of the
and
board.
then rook e1, and
Yeah, and your two bishops don't do so much,
yeah,
unfortunately.
this
I mean,
this is actually, I don't know, maybe it's good for him. I thought for a while
Maybe.
here, and well, decided to
if a5, maybe something like that.
yeah, at some point, but he can play knight c4 first and wait a bit. So
Yeah.
so well, I took with the bishop.
And then,
Knight g4. I mean, I
okay.
had to do this because if he plays f3, then the bishop will
well,
be...
now you're going to take the bishop.
Yeah, I will take
so-
the bishop. He can play bishop a7. I thought this for a while, but then I would go bishop g5, I think.
Yeah, I think you want to get rid of that bishop.
Yes,
in
I want to
general in these
take, I go back
positions.
with the knight, should be fine for me.
Yeah, yeah.
But then
He went c4.
he went c4 very fast, and now he took with the pawn, which thought it was a bit surprising.
Maybe he didn't want
Yeah,
you to
maybe
to do
this is
and
just
take.
very close to equal. Sometimes I can even be better if I go a5 and then f5, so at least
Uh-huh. And
I
then
can push
this-
my pawns.
Okay.
But
so he took with the pawn.
yeah,
and
castle,
then-
rook f1, bishop
Queen
queen
d7.
d7, b3. And here, I don't know, I could play f5 as well. This is the second time. But e4 was a bit annoying.
And then you have to again make a decision about
Yeah,
your pawns.
because I can play bishop g5, takes and takes on d2, and then takes on f5. I mean, pawn takes.
Wait, yeah. Okay.
Bishop takes e2, then I take on f5, and then he takes, and maybe rook f1. I don't know, maybe it's around equal.
Looks like we have another result. Sam Sevian drew against Viktor Erdos. We might have one of those coming later as well, I'm not sure. We'll
So, well, bishop
Alright.
g5, he can't play knight f3 because of e4, but he
Yeah.
can play...
This is beautiful, actually.
Yeah,
Just
he will lose the exchange. Yeah,
The rook and, yeah.
but yeah,
He played knight e4.
knight e4, and then again I could play bishop
Okay.
e7 back. I don't know
Yeah,
if
but the knight, you probably don't like the knight there, you want to get rid of it.
no, because maybe he would go back. I mean, and
Ah.
then go f5. But
Okay.
I felt I should be playing for something more here. I mean, maybe he can even play knight c3, and then after bishop g5,
Instead of that, just
he won't
try to
repeat.
improve a little
Yeah,
bit.
he will go rook c2 or rook. I don't know, something to
Try
play
to
e4. Maybe rook c2 and rook f2.
Something like that.
But I just went f5, and here.
But here you have a
he went-
small chance, but then c5.
Yeah, I thought this was fine, but c5 was. I didn't expect c4.
Uh-huh.
C5. I thought maybe a5, maybe b4. Now,
And now he's trying to
yes, but
queen
now it
d5.
seems he's okay. I mean, actually, I was a bit worried at some point after queen e6, rook fd1, rook fd8, queen d5, and now my idea was to take and rook c6.
But does it work?
No, I think
Can I take?
yes, and then I wanted to play g6, I think. But
Oh,
then
okay.
he can take on c5.
With which rook? I'm not sure.
Probably the c1 to maybe to force me. I don't know if he. But
This-
if I trade, he has rook c8, rook c7, and rook
Yeah,
c7.
and this is probably pretty balanced. Very cool. Right?
No, but maybe he can take b7,
Try to get on 7th rank. Sure.
and then I go rook d1, rook d2, and his king is it should be equal. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then king f7 looks nice, and
And
then
then-
I don't know. I felt at some point I had a chance, but it's probably always a draw.
Yeah.
G4 is good.
Yeah,
I mean-
trying to trade some
Because
pawns is
if
good
I
for a while.
take, then he goes rook f1 and rook. I don't know if I go king e6 or king g6, but
Yeah,
then he takes g6, g5, and I thought this would be dangerous for me.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it's still equal, but
But why do you have to do this? G6
no, g6
seems
G6
very
is fine.
natural, and then
No, the
you're
problem
holding
is
on
at first time I didn't see what to do after pawn takes, because if pawn takes rook f1, I'm probably bad, but I can take on d6 first with the other rook
The other
to
rook.
trade. So if he takes on d6 and take on g6, and then I can take g6 first.
G6 first?
Yeah,
Okay.
to try to then.
But you don't need to take it. You can.
Yes,
just
I can
protect
defend
it.
c5,
Yeah,
and I can
that's
also
good.
probably play king takes and rook d3. Should be draw. I mean,
Okay.
immediately. But he was playing for a win here. I mean, g4. He can probably take on c5 if he wants to draw, but he tried g4.
And
and-
after. And
yeah,
this game seems like it requires a lot of analysis. A very interesting rook end game. Unfortunately, we're running out of time very soon with our show. So
Yeah.
thank you for going through all of these lines with us. We'll try to keep looking.
No, I guess after
like-
after this it was more or less forced. I mean, you can just go till the end.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
probably a draw without anything.
But it's certainly a very tension game, and both of you are trying to fight for a win in a way or another.
yeah,
So it's kind of interesting. Thanks so much for joining us. We wish you good luck. Tomorrow is a tough game. You have some big chances to finish one at the top.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. And all right. That was Grandmaster Perez Ponsa. What interesting games they had, and I believe we might have Grandmaster Gabuzian possibly joining us. Maybe not. Yes, he's here. All right, so he's going to get set up. What an interesting game that was. We were right with Caleb. There was no mate for black. White was the only one it was winning in that position. So let's see Hannes. Let's see his thoughts. Congrats on this beautiful game. Thanks for joining us again. What happened with you in the tournament? You started so great. You had a beautiful first round.
I don't know. It's a disaster. I'm losing all dorish positions. I can't beat positions where I have advantage. So finally today it happened, where it was a tough game. So I can't say I had a big advantage all the game. But at some point, I guess my opponent misplayed something. So I got some activity.
You changed the standings in this tournament, right? I mean, now it's possible if Jeffrey is winning, he might be taking the lead.
Oh yeah, probably. I'm thinking about the same, because right now I'm not fighting for anything, so I decided to.
So you're more relaxed now. You're like, I'm going to.
So
give it my
I still
best
wanted
shot.
to feel important. So that's
that makes sense. And we were thinking around this position. When your opponent played d5, trying to get some space here, and you played this move knight b5. That we were wondering. Was there a reason why you didn't go for d4
yeah, because
directly?
if I'm playing knight b5, I'm playing d4. Knight d4 is not very pleasant to me, and I don't want to get this pawn structure, because what I'm trying to do to get d4 square and trying to force d5 pawn. So I played knight b5 for the reason I want to play d4, and just for example, after some knight d4, I'm gonna go queen d1 or queen e1 and just keep this d4 square. So later I will take d takes
So for example,
e5.
if he makes some random move, say some strengthening move or something there.
Yeah. So I'm going to play d4 and maybe probably queen d1. I don't know, e1 or d1, one of those moves. And now next move I'm going to take and have a great knight on d4. So that's
maybe
what
knight f4 also.
Yeah, so I was aiming for the central squares, and actually I didn't want to allow my opponent to play e4 and to have a pawn on e4 and close my bishop.
I see. Okay, we weren't sure in this position how to evaluate it.
Yeah, it was difficult.
d4
During the game I wasn't sure whether I'm playing for advantage or I'm trying to hold it, so I decided. Well, of course, I don't know, knight b5, can it be the best move in real, but
knight d7 seemed to have kind of let you do what you wanted.
I wouldn't say so. Knight d7, I guess, is a very strong move, because what's my problem? Knight is going to f6 and protecting d5 pawn and aiming for this g4 weak square in the future. So I thought knight d7 isn't a good move, but whenever he played it and d4 e4, how it happened in the game, here I wasn't really happy, because next knight f6 is coming. So
well,
and here was a crucial g5. I guess is a mistake. Yes. Okay, so after g5, I'm getting a very easy play, and after knight f6, it was really hard to play. So then g5 is coming, knight g4 in the future.
So he probably rushed in this position.
Yeah, I think so. Knight f6 firstly was better, and I don't know what I was going to do here. I had some move, knight c2 or something, but I was going to.
So it's better, you're telling us it's better to keep the tensions.
Yeah, for sure. And knight f6 is very strong. Because after g5, what's the problem? Of course, I'm going to give 2 pieces for a rook and a pawn, but the key positions were open, so black king is going to get under attack. That's the problem.
that was his problem. And after that, like, you played really, really nicely. I don't know if you had any moment.
There was only one point. I think he had a good chance. So here, bishop c4. My opponent, I guess he was trying to play for a win, king h7, queen b3. Yeah, those are our only moves. And here, rook c4, then he played knight f6. So probably trying to fight. But what I'm thinking about, the black can't have really here any chances for a win. So I think my opponent decided to fight, because knight b6 is making probably a draw here. I have to take queen b6, takes, and takes on c4.
Oh yeah,
Well,
this
I will
seems pretty.
I will try to make something here, but I'm not sure there. I will try to push my pawn somehow, but I'm not sure it's gonna be advantage for white. So
But after knight f6, it was really we actually were watching
yeah,
this.
knight f6 is giving me many chances. So of course he's gonna try to weaken my king with f4, but I guess black is not on time. So yeah, so
yeah,
here is
but
where
his
F4.
king is way too weak
Yeah,
after.
yeah.
After
So
f4.
yeah, if bishop c4 instead of f4, I was going to take rook c4 and next move just play rook c5 after f4. So that's what I was thinking about. So this is red. Yeah, and I'm going to take rook g5 check, queen f5. There are going to be many threats. So probably this is already bad after knight f6. And yeah, how it happened in the game, it's just lost.
Yeah, that's what we thought. It's
Yeah,
a
it's
very
just
very
lost in the
nice
game.
play by
Yeah,
you.
there is nothing I guess.
Tell us your secret. Last question that I have for you for today. It's a very interesting day. We're having a lot of interviews. But what's your secret? How do you play so fast? Do you not spend enough time calculating?
Well, I'm getting this question very often.
Okay.
I don't have the only answer, so it depends.
It depends.
Well, this is my style, so I'm trying to use my opponent's time, and usually, if you notice, all my opponents are getting in time trouble. So
Yes.
this is my trump. I mean, even in the equal positions or even in the bad positions. Here, I had many cases when I was completely lost, like -5, 6, or crash position, but because of time trouble of my opponents,
Yeah,
I was
they
getting
don't
some
have
chances and had of course, I'd lose
Okay.
all the games, but I had the good chances.
So you try. You're basically like a poker player. You're
Yeah, it's kind of
cheating
I'm
okay.
trying to use my opponent's time in the opening, so
Yeah.
well, it
But
works.
it's good that you're managing because not everyone manages to use the opponent's time right to calculate. So it's
Yeah, that's my strategy. That's what I'm trying
Okay.
to do.
All right. Well, you heard him. You can try to. I actually know some players in the U.S. who are following your style.
Oh.
So that's cool. Well, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Again, we wish you good luck last round. Try your best.
Thank
I know
you.
you're not in the contention, but you never know.
Well,
All right.
I'll try to be important.
Thank you. Very nice comeback into the tournament. A beautiful win against the leader of the tournament. So Gabuzian Hofhannes has beaten Rinat Jumabayev today, and we are going to see some changes in the standings. And I believe we're going to have another player from the A section that we've never had before in the tournament. Sem Sevian is going to join us for the first time. And I believe this was a very interesting game, unfortunately, with all the interviews and with getting in a little bit later than the game started. We haven't had the chance to go over the key moments of your game, Sam, but maybe you can walk us. I heard there was some sacrifice.
Yeah, this was a very interesting game. He played the Zaitsev variation.
Okay, let's get back to the
Yeah.
opening. All right. Were you prepared against this?
This was in my main line that I checked. So.
Okay, so that's good, I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
going into your preparation.
Mhm.
And for those of you who want to make a draw, guys, you can always just repeat here and hope that black is going to go for rook e8. Right?
I did that twice.
You did, yeah, I
The
know.
next move
It's
too.
like maybe. You wait.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you did
yeah,
it
yeah,
again.
yeah.
You're like, let's gain some.
Yeah,
let's gain some time
Which
and
make
make
I
sure
know.
that. All right. It's
Yeah.
always good. I mean, you never know when you might
Mhm.
need that extra time.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you play them fast? Did you play the moves fast?
I was making sure he doesn't have d5 after knight
Okay.
g5.
Okay. All right.
So
Now
I
you
played
did
this
too?
a3 d5 line.
Okay. So you're closing the
yeah.
position, and now.
The main idea for black is to move the knight and then play c6.
Mm-hmm.
And white plays knight f1, knight g3. But he played this very interesting move, knight a5, which I didn't know.
So bishop
and-
a2.
Yeah, and the idea is after bishop a2 or bishop c2, he wants to go c6.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I basically spend a lot of time deciding between winning the piece with b4
Mm-hmm.
or just taking on c6, which maybe I should have taken on c6. But the thing is, he plays bishop takes c6.
Uh-huh.
So he
And then
doesn't
this
let me
knight
play
will go
knight
back
f1.
that
Yeah.
way.
Actually, it's very interesting. If I play b4 here, he goes knight c4,
Oh.
knight takes c4, bc, knight d2, which was I was looking at, and he plays d5 here. Yeah, and I was considering many moves here, ed, but I'm under an attack after queen takes d5 or knight takes d5, knight
Yeah,
f4.
this doesn't
Yeah.
look so. I mean, you have a lot of pieces on
On
the
the
first
back rank,
rank.
yeah.
You should not.
Maybe I should play bishop b2 instead of e takes d5.
Here.
Yeah.
Bishop d5. Just try to keep the tensions in
Yeah,
the center.
because he
If
doesn't really want to take d because then knight takes c4.
Yeah,
I
and
put the knight
then-
on e3 and I have this mass on
yeah,
one
the
side.
bishop is going to be completely blocked. But okay, very interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe bishop b2, that would give you some.
Maybe I should have played this. Yeah.
But I think it doesn't feel comfortable to place your bishop there yet. Although those pawns will be traded at some point, you'll take c4 and you'll play eventually.
Maybe he plays rook c8 here actually and defends the c pawn. And it's not clear what my next move is. I should play queen c2, rook d1.
Something
and
like
he
that.
does the same thing, like queen b6. Yeah.
And then rook d8 or something.
Yeah.
All right, so a lot of pressures.
Yeah.
But you went for b4.
Yeah.
You went for the piece. Do you think he had this planned? Did he play fast? Was this?
He may have. I don't know. There's also e takes d5 here, which is kind of the key point. I think knight c4, knight takes c4, bc, bishop takes c4, rook c8, queen b3. I was trying to make this work for a long time, trying to hold on to both pawns, but.
And queen b3, and I think we had a result in the game Jeffrey Chung against Varakobian. I do not know what the result was. Probably a draw, I'm assuming.
I don't know, probably.
Okay, we're still waiting to see the kings being placed. Okay, that was a draw.
Yeah, I don't think Black resigned after rook takes.
Yeah, I was like, what happened? All right,
Yes.
it was supposed to be a draw. I mean, it was pretty balanced. So now we have 2 leaders.
Yeah, 2 leaders.
Yeah. Jeffrey and Rinat Jumabayev. Okay, wait. So queen b3, and did you think that?
And here, initially you think like maybe rook takes c4 is interesting.
Wow.
Queen takes c4, knight takes d5, but it's up in exchange. So bishop d2 or bishop e3. Yeah.
So how did you make your decision?
I found
you
an idea after
else?
move 23, queen b3.
Okay.
Like it's a very nice idea. Queen c7, natural move.
Going for those
I have
two.
to play knight d2, and 2 nice plans Black has. One is queen b8, queen a8, and I can't defend the d pawn.
Oh, because now you have the knight in d2 bothering everything and having to
this is a very nice one actually. If I play knight f1, trying to put it on e3, queen a8, knight e3, Black plays rook c7, and again I can't move the bishop. I go rook d1, rook e8, and it looks like I'm in time. Bishop b2, but once this happens, he goes rook takes c4.
Take?
Yeah, and bishop takes e5, and everything works out.
Wow.
So this was probably
that's crazy. And I mean, guys who are watching this video, I mean, look at these grandmasters. They are calculating so much. How do you calculate all this?
Yeah, it's.
Do you spend a lot of time focusing on calculation?
Maybe too much time.
Too much time. All right, but you went for the piece.
One more idea I have there. After instead of queen b8, after knight d2.
All right, so here.
No, not
this one. Queen c7, knight d2.
So I can also play knight d7, I think.
And try to go for knight b6.
And go knight b6, and this looks fine as well.
Yeah.
So once I saw these things, I decided, okay, I'm going for this piece.
For the piece?
Yeah.
And then...
And he made a very nice move, d5. If he plays queen takes a5 first, I play c4. And my pieces can breathe. Basically in the game, my pieces were stuck.
Yeah, at some point your position did not look very comfortable.
Yeah, I think knight b3 is a mistake, actually.
Okay.
I think I should go knight f1 and play for knight d3, knight g4, an activity, because my pieces on the queens, yes, I'm holding on to the pawn, but...
This, like this?
Yeah. Something like that, and put pressure on
What
d5.
will you do with your bishop in c1? Seems tough. I really want to place it there. If I could just place it there, that would be amazing, but it's not so easy. Okay. And then you struggled a little bit in this position.
Yeah, he put the rooks, very natural setup. Yeah. Now Black has, ideally Black wants to place the knight on e6 and support d5, d4 break, also f5.
Yeah.
And the knight can also go to f4, it's such a good place.
That's
true. So maybe the best move here is knight h7.
For Black? Yeah. Try to bring it to actually go for that.
Yeah, to go to e6. Yeah.
Maybe he didn't realize that he could do that.
No, but
or maybe he
I have ideas too. I can play like rook a d1, knight g5, and queen e3. Try to enter queen b6. So there are some ideas White has. Of course, I also have f3 in many positions to open up the king side.
Yeah, this looks like a very complicated game. Yeah. Definitely,
I actually like his move too, g6.
Take a lot of hours to analyze in depth and see where everyone went wrong.
So he's doing the same thing via
just
f4.
via
But he weakened the f6 square, which is important later on. So I played queen e3, knight f4. One important moment, if he plays instead of knight f4, f5, I go queen b6. And I'm attacking g6, and he can't really play queen f7 because knight c5, and finally I'm out.
And now you can see how you should be very careful of not pushing so many pawns, or being very careful on how you push them. All right. And we have another result. Sarana won against Naroditsky. Wow, so many crazy games today. This tournament is changing a lot of leaders, I think. Wow. All right. Just, Sam, we are approaching the end of our time here.
Okay, I'll go a little
screen.
faster. So here I will go knight g4,
Okay.
threatening knight f6, of course, and he can't really play bishop g7 because of the c5 square. Queen b6, knight c5.
This looks very
Yes,
nice.
very
You
nice.
start activating a lot of your pieces.
So he went rook e6, and of course I can
To
play like
control.
bishop b1 on the previous move probably instead of knight g4 and
Uh-huh.
play it safe. But I decided to sharpen.
To
the
just
game.
be, yeah.
With
And
C4.
you're both going low on time, I think,
Yeah.
right?
I had about 23 minutes here. Yeah, he spent a lot of time, like 25 minutes here on DC.
This is beautiful. You're trying to actually undermine the protection on these two pawns and just try to kind of destroy. You don't want to keep this knight in f4 for too long.
Yeah,
It's
true.
always annoying to have such a knight, and g3 is not possible.
I just
so.
want to show one few lines. I think he should have played b takes c4 in this position, and 2 lines. If knight d4, which I initially wanted,
Wow.
and probably.
Can I take?
Yes, take queen takes d4, and he has problems. Knight takes f6.
Yeah.
And the problem is at the end, if he sacrifices.
Oh, sorry. Nope.
With rook takes f6, queen takes f6, bishop g7. It looks like he has this nice pawn chain. I trade everything, and e4 is hanging, c4 is hanging. I use the pin to d5.
Oh, very beautiful. Okay, now you take probably.
Yeah, and
which one do you start
e4,
with?
I guess e4.
Yeah.
Yeah, this should be winning.
And then everything is lost. So he has to be careful with
So
this.
he has a very nice move after knight d4. I think rook e7, which is very counterintuitive because it allows knight f6 check. And this is a very complicated position.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I need some time to adjust to the changes in that position. This knight d4 is very, very nice.
Yeah.
But after he takes, it looks like
Takes,
you're
takes. I went
getting
queen
back
takes
into the
f4.
game.
I believe I should have taken rook takes d8 first.
Is there going to be a
Well,
difference?
I can take the rook too on e5.
The rook
yes.
would, yeah. Okay, but maybe.
So let's say rook takes d8, queen takes d8, queen takes f4. I could also take the rook in that position. I mean, knight takes e5
All right.
on the previous move.
You want to take the rook?
Which queen g5 I was looking at, knight g4, and h5.
H5.
Yeah, h5. Yeah, I didn't like this that much.
Whew. Okay, lots of lines.
Yeah.
Too many
Yeah.
lines for me. But you're able in the end to kind of equalize. What was the final?
And so I
It was
went for
just-
queen takes f4, and then he played I think everything correctly. Rook e7.
And then
He has to go to h8.
just traded
Yeah, I
everything.
went
So you
for
went
d8.
to this end game.
Yeah.
No, c takes
Yeah, he finally takes on
b3.
b3. Yeah.
And now
And
you
no-
don't really have a mate. You need a pawn there. But you didn't
Yeah,
have
but he
it.
has a nice draw. Rook c8, rook c1 check, and rook c7.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so now he's forcing possibly
And-
the rook trades,
Yeah,
and
which is
you
very
don't
bad
have.
for me. Yeah.
Okay, but a very hard fought game. Certainly a lot to learn for everyone, and maybe a new idea with sacrificing a piece and creating some very annoying plans in the center. Thank you so much for joining us today and walking us through all these lines. Unfortunately, our show will have to end very soon, so we wish you good luck. Last round, whom do you have last round?
VAR tomorrow.
VAR.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to take a look at the standings and see what is happening here today. Thank you again,
Thank
Sam,
you.
for joining us. So in Group A, we have Rinat Jumabayev. He lost this game. He's still in the leading position with Jeffrey Xiong, who drew his game, and we have them both at 5 points. Third is Sam Sevian, who with his draw secured his third place, and he's really putting a lot of pressure on those two, Rinat and Jeffrey, for going into the last round. Then we have Daniel Naroditsky, one of the players who was about leading the tournament, had a great tournament, but unfortunately lost today against Alexei Sarana, who's catching up. And Caleb is joining me back,
Yes.
so I'm going to let you.
I can make sure. Oh yeah, I love this part. You get to do all the interviews. I get to read the
I'm
stand-up.
sorry.
No, I'm joking, of course. Of course, you were a lovely interviewer. And
I
very
tried.
interesting stuff from all these players here today.
So much, so many interesting games, and I feel bad we didn't really have the time to go over all the games.
Yes.
We kind of are finishing towards the end of them. We wanted to get more interviews because some of those players had a great tournament, and we have never had the chance to really get them
Yeah,
down
of
here
course.
for some thoughts?
Of course, our show tomorrow, we will be staying on until all is decided. So be
Yes.
sure to tune in for that. Maybe we'll have some time to get some of those players in. Of course, just jumping back to that A group for a moment here. Rinat Jumabayev, Jeffrey Zhang, the two players at the top. Of course, Sam Sevian, definitely within striking distance.
Yes.
And with an outside chance, Daniel Narditsky and Alexei Serrana, also able to catch those leaders.
Yes.
So be on the lookout for that Rinat Jumabayev game tomorrow and the Jeffrey Zhang game tomorrow.
For
Those
sure.
are likely the two to decide it.
Yeah, and Saturaman is still playing Gregory Oparin, so
Yes.
if one of them is going to win that game, they can join Sam for third place. That game's still in progress,
Of course.
so it's going to
A lot
be
of pieces
interesting.
on the board, a lot left to be decided there.
Yeah, and time is going down, so
Yes. Well, why don't we check out the B group standings as well?
let's do that.
After a couple of results today, Emilio Cordova has actually won his game, launching him into clear first place for the moment. Behind him trails Federico Ponsa with just 5 points, just a half point outside of the lead. And of course, Sergei Azarov has 4.5 out of 7. So if he manages to beat Christopher Yu in what seems to be an opposite colored bishop endgame, he will be joining Emilio at the top of the leaderboard. However, I'm expecting a draw from that game, so likely two players just a half point behind Emilio going into this final round. Alexei Sorokin unfortunately lost today to Emilio Cordova. No, I'm sorry, to Elshan Muradiyabadi.
Yeah, that was our first beautiful game.
Yes, of course, Alexei, be on the lookout for his game tomorrow. If he wins tomorrow, he will be making his Grandmaster title. He will
Yes.
achieve his final norm and go home with that very nice title. Melikachi drew today, bringing him to 4.5 points. Tigran Harutyunian is still playing against Sergei Ehrenberg. Yes.
Yeah.
And just a quick prediction on that game. Looks to be a drawn rook end game. So expecting a draw there for Haru. Yep, we see the players there still battling it out. It's 1 versus 2, but fairly simple draw, I think.
I think so. We had one of those yesterday in the game between Varakobian and Oparin. So,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, at this level, I think players should know how to draw
Of course.
those positions.
Elshan improves his score to 3.5. Justin Wank still on 2.5, and Sergei Ehrenberg and Christopher Yu round out the B group. Of course, I want to mention tomorrow the round starts 2 hours early, as does our show. So be sure to tune in live tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Central Time. We will both be here to give you the final round coverage. And note that if any players tie for the lead, we will be having playoffs tomorrow.
Yes.
So be sure to stay tuned. Our show will stay on until all is decided tomorrow. So it'll be an extra long one, hopefully an extra entertaining one, with everything being decided on the final day.
Yes, very exciting. I'm looking forward to that. So
Yes.
hopefully everyone is. Not sure who my picks are because it's getting
It's anyone's
everything is-
tournament.
Yeah,
It's anyone's tournament.
everything is turned around.
Well, thank you all very much for joining us. If you'd like to follow the games for yourself, see how this round concludes, be sure to do so at uschesschamps.com. But other than that, I think that's about it from us
That's
today.
about
Sabina.
it, and we want to thank our team.
Yes,
Tony
as
Chen.
always.
I wanted to mention him first because I always forget about him. Ben Simon and Isaac Schranz. Thank you so much for having patience with us, and especially with me when I go over time. But thank you so much, guys, and for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Be sure to tune in tomorrow for our final coverage of the Winter Chess Classic.
Bye.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club.